Welcome in. Welcome in. Come on in. This is the Ye Shall Live podcast, episode 7. Questions. Had some questions, y'all. Had some questions. Know what's going on? Please, if you can, I'm on YouTube as well at Andre C. Harrison. Have all these episodes up there as well. I'm live there on YouTube. To go subscribe over there as well. Like and subscribe. Go check out episodes 1 through 6. Those are on YouTube as well. I'm going to have to repost a few of these on Facebook as their lives taken down after some time. Yes. Welcome. Good to see you on this Wednesday night. Hope all is well with you. I have questions. Y'all. So I ended episode 6 talking about the time I was watching TBN and things and trying to understand who God was and things, and I had stumbled on Pastor Eddie Long, and he had a scandal he was involved in. I'm not going to talk about that in depth. You can go look that up. But when that happened, it shocked me some, and I had questions. And the reason I had questions, it wasn't necessarily from a judgment type of thing. I had questions about putting myself too much into a person, right? And we all have maybe in our life people we look up to, men or women. Some people look up to basketball players, things of that nature. And so in that, my beginning stages of my walk, I'm trying to find God. I had questions really about just what happened, and the details came out and things like that. So it was a shocking, but it didn't cause me to want to turn away from God. It just kind of shook me some, and I just had questions within myself about, we can't put all our stock into man. Men, we make mistakes. Men and women, we make mistakes. We're not perfect. And it's to your detriment to think anyone is or anyone is not capable of falling, especially when they're up on a pedestal or you got to put them on a pedestal. If you think about it, if you have kids or anything, they look up to you, and you got to remind yourself you are still human, right? You still are being worked on. You're still being chiseled, or it's about to say that the potter's clay, getting molded into what you truly need to become. Now, we don't do this in our own strength. We do this in the Lord's strength. And so when that happened with Pastor Eddie Long, I just took a moment, because obviously he got removed and things like that. And so I was still watching TBN and things. And so I just took a moment to kind of just understand what it means to fall and when you have questions about anything. And I try to take those questions to God, right? And so I'm asking God, I'm trying to understand, like, what is it we need to do, right? Because as I talked about in a previous episode, when you're feeling a void with things, there are other things that try to grasp your attention or get you to move in a different way. And so we got to be mindful of that. And the Bible even tells us we need to guard our gates. And so back then I didn't understand anything like that. I'm still fresh, still trying to understand the Bible. But those questions I had sent me down a path that has brought me to where I am today, right? And so I think that that humbleness that started to develop with God, trying to understand, not trying to judge. Like I said, I didn't grow up in a church and things like that. So I really just had questions. And some more things started coming out about him. And so I just took a moment to kind of settle in that and realize we are all human. And we got to be careful of how we maybe try to idolize people or things, right? And you really start to question how you view this life. And so the the other questions I had, I kind of alluded this into other episodes, is why was I still here after the attempt? Like, what allowed me to stay? Because we've seen and heard people that have attempted it and gone through with it, right? Um, but what kept me here? For all intents and purposes, I should have been gone, right? So I really started to question within myself, okay, what is God doing with me? What does He want me to do? Where does He want me to go? Like all this stuff. But there was some weighty questions at the time, and I'm still trying to get in the groove of life. I'm fully healed at the time from the wounds. I'm fully healed at this time now. Some years have passed, and looking back, unfortunately, I wish I would have went to physical therapy for my ankle, but I found ways to kind of complement that over the years with exercise and weight training and stuff. And I'll talk a little bit later in episodes about that. But I'm questioning, okay, kind of going back to my purpose, like why am I still here and what can I do to figure that out? And if you have attempted suicide or you're thinking about attempting it, um, I challenge you to ask yourself that and then kind of figure out what it is you think that might be, right? Because we truly all have a purpose. And you might question the purpose. You might have tried some things that didn't work, but there's something that you are supposed to do. Now, I'm not talking about everyone, not everyone walking this earth has to be a pastor, prophet, or anything like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the, the, the purpose of what you are to do in this earth, right? Some of us can cook well, the chefs, right? Some of us, you see the people who drive cars, whether race car drivers, basketball, sports, doctors, lawyers, like this, a myriad of things. And if you really think about it, nothing can really deter you if you sit back and look. If you think about like McDonald's, right? They make hamburgers, they might be the leader in producing it, but that didn't stop other places from making hamburgers. There's mom and pop shops, there's other restaurants, there's other fast food chains, right? So just seeing that in real time, if you have questions and you can really see, like, wait a minute, like it is possible. It is possible for me to move forward in my purpose, and nothing anyone else is doing will overshadow that because it's my purpose, my will. If you think about it, a McDonald's hamburger and a Burger King hamburger and a Wendy's hamburger, cheeseburger, whatever, are made different ways, right? However you think they're made, right? Whether you think it's real or not, they're still being made and still being eaten. But so are the mom and pops, right? So the other restaurants, the Chili's and stuff, they sell burgers, chicken sandwiches, right? So if you have questions about your purpose, you can really just dial in. And I talked a little bit about, you know, finding yourself doing some self inventory, like just looking back over your life and trying to see what am I truly good at, what am I great at, um, and if you really sit down and like I even say write it out, write it down, right? There was a point where I had um, after I'm fully healed and things, I tried out for a semi-pro basketball team, right? Because I thought maybe that is a purpose. So but I was questioning that. Well, maybe it's that. And I kind of trained and I used this old jumping video, this vertical video I had. My daddy got me in high school, but this is many years later. So I remember training for that using the video, and I remember I heard something pop in my leg. It was my IT band, right? It tightened up and got knotted up, but I kind of ignored it. And when I went for the tryouts, I wasn't focused, right? I didn't do the best I could do, and I didn't make the team, right? But I had the potential and things like that. So after that, I said, okay, well, I like basketball, but maybe this is just isn't it, right? Maybe there's another avenue. And so it's okay to try different things. Now I did play high school basketball, so it wasn't like I was just coming off the couch and trying to go to a semi-pro team, right? So there was that. But what I'm trying to say is you may not get to your question answered in the first go. Hey, blessings. Hey, blessings, baby. Thank you for joining. You may not get your question answered in the first go. So the basketball, the semi-pro thing fell through. Now I could have tried out again, but I was kind of thinking, well, I don't know. It was more me trying something, but I liked basketball at that time, but the love of it wasn't there. So I was like, well, maybe this purpose can get tabled, or maybe I can move on from that, right? And try something else. So when you have questions, just try the things out first. Try the things that you may have done before. You may have been good at drawing. So I started down that path, right? Maybe I can be maybe I'm an artist or something. You should draw a little bit, but I had to look at things to draw, right? So I have to look at I was just it's not I couldn't imagine something and draw it because imagining something and draw is a whole different skill set. I can draw something looking at it and like, you know, I was drawing comic book characters, the Wolverine and all that, things like that. But I liked it, but again, the love wasn't there. So even though it wasn't there, I'm trying things. I'm trying to fill the void and get the answer to my questions at the same time. Like, what am I supposed to do? Now, at the same token, on the job, right? I was working in the car wash bay and I learned how to detail. And I was like, well, maybe that's it. But then I got born to me. It got monotonous. It wasn't there. I could do it. I was good at it, but I was like, I don't think this is it either, right? So you got to kind of invest in yourself, right? Pull yourself up out of that and really move towards something. Now, it's okay to have questions, and even in those questions, I was kind of questioning God and asking Him too, like, well, what is it? You know, why am I still here? I wanted to not be here. So I'm wrestling with that a bit, but I'm not at the point where I want to attempt again. I'm not, even though the thoughts are still there because I know the enemy was still attacking me, but there was no movement for the attempt. I was really just trying to figure out the why, right? And so you may feel the same way in that. You may say to yourself, well, I didn't want to be here and I'm still here. You may have attempted again and you're still here, right? But I invite you to just take a moment for yourself, right? Just take a moment, start to question yourself, do the inventory, and say there's got to be something that I can do, something that's worth living for, right? Because you're still here, and even if you haven't attempted, right? But you're thinking about it, the thoughts are consuming you, and but you don't know. And you're like, no, just just take a moment, just breathe, right? You almost gotta push away the outside stuff and the noise, right? And really just come into yourself. Now you may need some therapy. I'm not against it. Maybe a therapist or something like that. You may need a support group, you know, like an AA or something. They may have that out there. So if you really truly want to go on, and I believe you do, and you shall live, right? You got to invest in yourself. Nobody can invest in yourself better than you can invest in yourself. Nobody can love you more than you can love yourself. Nobody can encourage you more than you can encourage yourself. You can have all that shoulder on you and upon you, but if you're not doing it for yourself, it doesn't get anywhere, right? You're not. It's not going to affect you if other people are trying to love on you and encourage you and care for you, and you are not moving towards anything, right? And you may feel stuck, right? So even after all those things I mentioned, um, and even with the detailing and stuff, right? I'm just kind of doing it. I can make money. It's easy, right? But I felt stuck, kind of. So I kind of moved around. I talked in another episode how I moved up to the parks department, right? And just trying to go through my mind of what, trying to attach something to it, right? And now I'm doing things, and the type of person I was, ambitious. So even if I'm doing that, I gotta push to the limit, right? I gotta go for it. But even with that, I find myself going through the motions sometimes, right? Just doing that. There was no passion behind it, no care. And so then that's when, you'll know your purpose because you'll truly care. And even if people are discouraging you and that's the enemy, right? You can't do this, you can't do that, you never be nothing. You know, they're trying to push you to the depression. They're trying to push you back into that space and feel your void with the noise, right? The doubt and the not believing in yourself. But if you're listening to me and you come on, I want to say you have to believe in yourself, and you got to really dig deep to the deepest regions of yourself. Maybe even those deep dark things you never even talk to anybody about, right? Because oftentimes people commit, some people may even know, but some just they don't leave a suicide note, right? They just do it. Um, In my case, I didn't. Mine was just I just did it. There was no right, and so even with that, God can still wrap His arms around you and move you into a space, a better space. Now that does come with some sacrifice. Sacrifice some things. You might have to sacrifice some time. You even have to sacrifice some people, right? Because everybody's not for you. And you'll start to question that too. I'm starting to look around as even in this, I mentioned, people were helping me things, but that doesn't mean everybody's for you, right? And so with that, you got to really move into a different space, and that's what is called discernment, right? And it's important to have discernment because you need it for your walk, and you need it for the people that are coming around you, whether on a job or in relationships, right? There's another question I was having too, right? Who is really for me and who's really against me? And it's hard to see that sometimes. It's hard to understand that, even hard to grasp that, right? Those are some more questions I have because I'm trying to build myself back up, right? Trying to build up my strength. I'm trying to build up my mental, right? I'm trying to build up the emotional piece of all of this because it's easy to get wrapped up in what's going on around you and lose yourself in it, right? It's easy, especially in this age now. Now, in my case, we're talking, well, it was 20, almost 25 years ago, 24 years ago, right? But now with the technology and the way social media is, it was just kind of ramping up Facebook and all that. Things are moving like it's all now we have AI. So we're trying to figure out what's real, what's not. A lot of questions. It's a lot of questions. But we can give those questions to God and He will help us navigate this thing. Holy Spirit, which Jesus left for us, can help us, the knower, right? I say this all the time to my wife. I said the knower is on point. We got to know that the knower knows. Help with the questions, right? And so I remember reading at the time as I got through the Bible and things and got to Acts and the Holy Spirit and Acts 2 and things in the upper room. And so I didn't understand it at the time, but when I look back now, the Bible is just it's a blueprint to the direction and the space we need to be in, right? And so people don't agree. We can all disagree and agree on things, but there's only one true living God. Okay. And as I was going through my journey, I began to realize that kind of early on, things were pulling at me still, but I still had one foot out in the world. I wasn't completely all in, but I was still trying to get answers to the questions. So I'm reading, and I even remember the first time I got to Revelations. That lot of questions there, right? And for my Bible readers and scholars, you understand that. And so for a long time, I didn't even go back to that book. But God is the way. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. He will position you in a way that will get all your questions answered, your purpose fulfilled, your life restored. He will. I'm a living, breathing, walking testimony of it, right? It took some time. Um, and this is the journey that you're on with me as I walk through this, right? Took some time, and he's still working on me. But I'm so glad that he clung to me when he did at that time, because there's so many distractions, and I know even now in this day and age, there's so many distractions that you are overcome with, and you really just want to know the truth that's in him, right? Um, we do have to be mindful in this time. The AI is here; it's not going anywhere. I was talking to one of my sons. He's in the digital space, and he just graduated from a college that he wants to create games and things. And we were talking about just how much technology has changed just the 5, 10 years, right? It's moving fast. This world's moving fast. But even in that, nothing is greater than the author and the finisher of our faith, Jesus Christ, right? Nothing is greater than the Alpha and Omega. We can find ways in this to move and navigate. Now, it may take you some time just to get in a comfortable space, but I just invite you to invest in yourself and keep moving towards that, right? Keep moving, keep pressing towards the mark. Keep believing in yourself, keep investing in yourself. And it's one day at a time. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. It's one day at a time, right? And it may not look good on the day that you're in, but if you're blessed to make it to tomorrow, you can move towards it. But you got to be on the right path, the right road, and that's with him, right? Can't do it in anyone else's strength. You do it in his strength, right? And sometimes we feel weak, and that's normal. We're in this body, we're spiritual beings in this natural body, and we're questioning even what that means, right? So some of us that's going to be hard to grasp, but that is what it is, right? The spirit in us moves, and the spirit in us is a driving force, unless we let the flesh take over, unless we let those outside forces come against us. And we're not going to do that. We're going to live. We're going to move forth. We're going to dig. We're going to fight. We're going to fight for our life. I'm asking you, how much would you fight for your life? If somebody was trying to rescue you and take something from you, you would fight for your life. You wouldn't just let them manhandle you. You would use every bit of your strength. Somebody's trying to kick your door down. You use every bit of your strength to hold that door, or find something to hold the door, or find a weapon to use, or find some way to push back. So do that within yourself. Do that within yourself. You can, you will. Ye shall live. Ye shall live. So please, to go forth every Wednesday, Lord willing, we'll be on here. We're going to talk. We're going to go forth this journey. Join me, Lord willing, next week. You Shall Live podcast, episode 8, Decisions. So I had questions. So now I can feel a shift. Now I have decisions to make. Now I have decisions to make, because my life is at stake, and I wanted to live now. And I know you do too. I know you do too. So join me on this journey, and ye shall live. God bless you all.